Okay, it's 8:31, so I'm assuming you're good to go. Um, so let me start by introducing myself. My daughter is currently I'm Gayatri Srinivasan. My daughter is currently studying in Cornell University. She is in the third year of her college course. So I'm here as a parent, just sharing a few things that we learned as we went along the college admissions process with her. It was a new learning experience for us as well. So just sharing our own personal thoughts, what we went through. Okay, so it's again very individual, personalized journey here, especially in the US. It's never the same formula that fits everybody. It depends on so many factors, and which you must have become aware by now. So, but again, so small things that you can always take away from others' experiences. So, just here to share um, our family's experience. So, let me start by saying I think I'm not sure what all topics have been covered, but I'll just share a few of them. I think as the first step, making the college selection, the list of colleges that you want to apply to. I think that's the one of one among the most important decisions that you would be making. I think we were because that's very important. So usually, I think it's always split into three buckets. One is the safety, one is the just right schools, and one is the REIT schools. Again, we should make sure that most of the schools, at least many of the schools that from your list are just right. Of course, you will have some safety, which you are sure that you would get into, which is like a safety net. And then the REIT schools. Again, if your college selection list is very reach heavy, it is a burden on the kid as well as a lot of anxiety and stress to get into those REIT schools. So the reason it's a REIT school is because we have a slimmer chance of getting into it, right? So make sure that the college selection list that we make, it's always balanced with more focus on just right schools, where you think you will have a solid chance of getting into, and then some safety schools which are an easy shot, okay, and a few REIT schools which will be challenging, okay. I always keep in mind it's a REIT school, so you can always try and do your best to apply to them, but always have the idea back in your mind that it's a REIT school. And when you are selecting your just right school, just make sure you have all your factors that you want to take into account, like the academic program, which specialization you want to do. Is there a good program in that particular category? And then extracurricular active opportunities that are of your interest. Are they available there? Location. And my daughter, I know, was particularly interested in a campus school. She didn't want a city school which did not have a proper campus. It was just buildings here and there. She was more keen on uh, college with with a campus, and it had its own school kind of atmosphere. She somehow preferred that rather than a city school. But of course, she started with NYU because based on her college list and what she got into for the first year, NYU was her best choice. She preferred going there because she wanted to pursue law. So, and NYU had a very good grad law program. If you're all not aware, NYU's med school and law school have many opportunities, and then there's also some pre-program. They sponsor your tuition as well for certain school. NYU undergrad students at the top 1% or something. There are some certain criteria, but she didn't pursue it. But the reason why she chose NYU to begin with in her first year was because she was interested in pursuing higher studies in law, and NYU was the best option she had for law school because it's ranked very high for law courses, as well as they also there's a tuition advantage there if you're an undergrad in NYU Law School. So many advantages. So all these things go into play when you're choosing your college, making your college list to apply. So keep all of these things in your mind when you're making your college selection. Anything else that you might think might be meaningful to you, right? Which suit your circumstances. Of course, financial aid is a big part of it. Other than that, that goes without saying what we can afford, what we cannot afford. And every college has its own calculator, so you can rule that one out. Other than the financial aid, there are many other personal aspects, right? That that makes one college attractive than the others. So make sure, because the kid is going to be there by them on the they are there on their own. It's their first time away from the home, so they need to feel comfortable. So it's always good to take their choice and preferences into consideration while making the college list. And yeah, I think that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. And of course, anytime if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If I know, I will answer. Otherwise, I'll see if I have any of my friends there who can who can answer. The next point I wanted to share was about the course selection over high school. Again, it depends on school. Each school is very different. But in our school, there was a SUNY stream and there was an AP stream. And why I said was, if you know from the beginning that you're more interested in SUNY schools for undergrad. We live in New York. SUNY is the State University of New York. So many of my daughter's friends were interested in going to SUNY schools for undergrad and then pursue a grad program in a private school. So from the beginning in the high school itself, they started taking SUNY courses over AP courses. So they were able to finish quite a few of their SUNY credits in high school itself. So that's another thing you can think about while you're considering your college list. If you know from the beginning that for an undergrad, you would be going up to the SUNY school, then you think about going the SUNY streams, those kind of courses, so that you can finish it in high school itself, quite a few of them. But if you are deciding to go to a higher ranking school or a private school, which does not take SUNY credits, right? Then it makes more sense to take AP courses. And again, the mix is very important, right? What courses that you would like to think like you would like to pursue in high school and in college, then you go into AP courses for that. But again, just to emphasize our own experience, in high school, there was not any specialized courses that my daughter's name is Pujita. So Pujita wanted to take. She took a few of the AP courses, whatever was offered. And if you're targeting higher ranking schools, colleges, then they always prefer to see even how much did you challenge yourself. So if there is an honors program, AP program, and a regular program, you're always a B in an AP course is sometimes considered better than an A+ in a regular course. Because that again depends on which college you're applying for. If it's a higher rank school, then they will see, are you challenging yourself to the best of your opportunities that are being available to you. If the school itself does not provide any AP courses, then no problem. They are not going to they're not going to, it's not a disadvantage in your application. But if the school provided AP opportunities, higher more proficient courses, and you then took just the regular course, sometimes it plays to a disadvantage if it again depends on which college you're applying to. So Ivy Leagues, especially if you're taking it, they would want you to challenge yourself in school itself, so that they know that when you come to that school, you will challenge yourself and make use of the opportunities that are available in Ivy schools. So just not like so they say cruising courses where it doesn't bring out the best in you. So you don't cruise through. So again, it depends on which college you are applying to. So that is something you have to keep in mind as well. And if the school itself doesn't offer many AP courses, that's not a disadvantage also, because they see how much you challenged with the opportunities that were available to you, and did you make full use of it. So that's regarding the high school courses. And then my daughter was also part of a research program which she did. Of course, there was a mentor in school who guided, but she had to perform, to take all the initiative and do and collaborate with another professor and do the research program and present it, a paper. These kind of things those kind of activities also help to boost your application when you're applying for top level colleges. Okay, I'll go through the list of extracurriculars later. So maybe I think we can take this opportunity itself to talk about it also. So coming to extracurricular activities, right? I think that might be a little bit of what you say, the hardest, not the hardest, but the challenging part of any common application, right? So because GPA, test scores, all those things are pretty straightforward. There's nothing ambiguous about it. You got the score, you fill it in. Of course, above 15. Now it's become test optional also. So many things. So two things that are really a little bit more personalized are extracurricular activities and your essays, correct? So extracurriculars are an important factor, again, depending on which school you apply, right? Some schools, GPA is more than sufficient. A higher GPA will get into that school. But if you're looking at top tier schools, they are looking at extracurriculars because it tells them what kind of a person you are. In many schools, they want a balanced representation of the entire class. They don't want everybody, all studious, academic, like high level academic people in one class. They want a mix. One person doing well in sports, one person doing well in music, one person with an art background, somebody interested in astronomy, somebody interested in fish. So many different varied, they want a mix of varied people, but who are excellent in their whatever field they choose, right? So that's the kind of mix the top level colleges look for. And then there's the mid-tier colleges, which look primarily on your GPA, and of course some well-rounded extracurricular activities as well. But again, so college, that is why I feel in anything, the base is the college selection, where you want to go to. If you know that, then you can frame your extracurriculars accordingly, you can make your courses accordingly, you can choose all those things. So the base for everything is deciding where to go, how and which kind of colleges you want to apply to. So if you're looking at top ranked schools, then there they would like to see a well-rounded person who is not just academically and at the top level, but apart from being well-rounded, they would also want to have like a spike talent kind of thing, something that you really go for it and you specialize in it, right? You might be doing 10 different things. Oh, I go to music class, I go to taekwondo, I go to karate class, I go to this, I go to that. But at the same time, you might need one particular thing that you excel at. even in extracurricular, which you pursue for a longer period of time. Like we have all these high school sports, which you can see the 4 years junior varsity coaches, something like that, something that you stay stuck for quite a few years and try to become excel in that particular thing, right? You need to specialize, what you say, something that is meaningful to you, you're passionate about. Many times your essay also will be focused on experiences from that particular thing that you have been pursuing for such a long journey, right? So they know that you have the tenacity and the perseverance to do something and excel at it, right? And you have the passion to continue doing something for many years. You don't go keep hopping from one place to another, to one interest to another, just for the sake of going and trying something, but really mature at in one particular aspect. So in Pujita's case, she did many activities which which were part of her school. Like she is very much interested in classics, literature, arts, those kind of things. So she was, of course, doing our Indian music, vocals, keyboard, all those things. And apart from that, even in school, she was the Arts Honor Society. She was an active. She had an active role there. She was a treasurer, I think. And then she was very much interested in reading and um, books and all those things. So they had a body and soul book club where she was the president for that, for which the authors used to come, and then they all had a book. They get together, read, and they discuss about the characters in the book and all those things. Then there was an honor board in their school, which it was more like a which she was the president again, where you could talk about ethics and morals and principles of which you want to inculcate in the school students, right? So they had to, every year beginning, they had to come up with guidelines for that, about plagiarism, about truth, honesty, those kind of values, right? So that it's an honor board. So that whether it is in line with the school's principles, so those kind of things. So these were the kind of activities she was involved in. But I think she was very much interested in early childhood education. So that was her focus. Even her research was based on childhood development and early childhood, what factors were contributing to the excellence of a child's personality and the child's academic excellence. So that was her research also for 3 years. At the same time, she was doing a lot of things for early childhood. So she focused on that particular aspect of her application and all her activities, not because she wanted to highlight, because that was her passion. She was doing it right from the 8th, 9th grade itself. She used to go to library. She was even from middle school, I think she was helping kids with their homework. That she started with that. Volunteer tutoring for schools after young, that's how she started. But then eventually she started teaching English as a second language for kids. Then in the summer, she created a STEM program for children in the library. And then she, of course, she teaches human values as part of an ongoing spiritual group, which we are all a part of. So many programs, right, where you teach both academics, well-rounded personality development, all those things, but all focused basically on childhood education. So like that, so you have many activities going on, but I would say having one area of talent which you can highlight in your application and which you're passionate about, I think that would help to tell a story, right? So when the whole application, when you're writing, when they read so many applications, once they see this, they know, okay, this person, okay, do we want them or not? So that's how that's the most challenging part, the essays and the extracurriculars. So that's one thing. So you please mention when, again, they would also, another reason is when you come to the college, they would want to see how well you can contribute to the activities in the campus, right? So in the campus, there are so many clubs, so many opportunities available, and they want the college to be represented in many different Once you go to college, okay, you're their Cornell grad or NYU grad or SUNY Binghamton grad. So it's a great pride for them to have you in their school, and they want the school to be represented well whenever you. So they look for kids who can represent the school well outside in the either in workplace or in any other. So if we tell, okay, this person will represent our school well, so that's another thing, right? And most importantly, another thing is, whichever activity you're doing, it is a good thing to highlight two things, I would say. One is collaborative work and leadership. Is the kid able to work as part of the team and produce results as part of the team? I think collaboration and teamwork is something that everybody looks for. And second thing is leadership. Have you been able to take a role and accomplish something? Did you create this? It's not, okay, I was a part of this team, I was part of this team, I did music classes. No, it's more like, what, again, they look using that. Did you come up with a fundraiser, or did you do this, did you do that, did you create a program for somebody, things like that. So did you make an impact, right? From all your skills that you develop, and if you have been in the soccer for so long, did you become a did you try to coach the younger kids? Did you use your skills and talents to help others, or to take a leadership role and to guide others, things like that? Did you become a mentor, or did you work as a team to achieve something as a part of the whole collaborative approach? So these are the things. So extracurriculars, it's not about just attending some few classes here and there. So I think it's something to keep in mind. I'm sure others have said the same thing to you as well, but I'm just sharing whatever I thought was important in Pujita's experience. So I'm just sharing those things as a personal experience. That's it. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about in Pujita's case was, one thing is the flexibility that you have in these colleges that we join, as well as in terms of courses, as well as in college. So as I mentioned to you earlier, Pujita was very much interested in, she wasn't a fan of city colleges. She wanted not an urban setting, but more of a campus setting. So but at the same time, she joined NYU, and it was during COVID. She graduated in 2020, so her first year was totally online. So she never went to campus. She was at home. She did the first year of NYU fully online. She really liked it. And there were the courses were good. And she enjoyed taking the classes. I think she was part of a sorority as well. There was a South Asian sorority which she was able to join online, and so she did have a good time there for the first year. But at the same time, I think she wanted to explore the opportunity of transferring to another school as well, if possible. So she, and again, she also received an invitation to apply based on her previous year's application. So sometimes colleges do that. If you were in the top of their waiting list for when you applied and you weren't able to move up in that waiting list, and then they have some openings in the next year, they do send emails encouraging you to apply for transfer. Or you can apply to any school for transfer, right? Then nobody's stopping you. But again, so she decided to transfer after her first year. So I just wanted to share that because I'm not sure if somebody else has talked to you about it. So if you have a list of school and if you have something that you are passionate about going, and then somehow some factors didn't work out after you graduated high school, there's still another opportunity to try after first year. There's pros to it, there's cons to it, so many things. So I'll just highlight a few based on our own experience. So Pujita was in NYU. She was enjoying it, but at the same time she wanted to try transferring. So one thing is, you should have a compelling reason and a good reason to apply for transfer, because one thing is, the colleges would like to know why you want to transfer. Okay, that's the most important thing of a transfer application. In your common application after high school, it's your GPA, it's your scores, and all those things. And of course, your essays, extracurricular activities, all those things play a role. But during transfer, the most important thing is why you want to transfer. That is the most important thing. Okay. So for transfer, few requirements are there. One is the academic evaluation, of course, all the courses you took. So they will ask for a college report as well. Okay, so academic, again, all the you will have to submit again the 4 years of high school, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then your transcript from college as well. It will be your previous semester colleges as courses, the first semester, right? Once you go into the first year, the fall semester, whatever courses you took, until the midterm of the spring semester. So that you would have to provide them, and then you will also provide a recommendation, okay, letter of recommendation from your university professor, one from the current university professor, and another one from your high school, anyone from your high school whom you got before. Okay, so that will be necessary. So it is important that, again, you might not know whether you're going to apply for transfer or not, but it's always a good thing to have a good rapport with one of the professors in the college, though. And Pujita got a good recommendation from one of the professors in her fall semester, which she used to apply for her transfer to Cornell. Then, of course, they again have a writing supplement and the application. Transfer application itself, there will be questions, and then they will also ask for a writing supplement. But the main highlight of that application is why transfer. Of course, that's the primary thing. So something that you need to be aware of. So again, I think what Pujita had her own reasons for transfer, which she mentioned. But it's very important that I feel personally that when you are writing, you highlight why you want to transfer. At the same time, you never put down the school that you are in currently, because that doesn't bring a good picture. Okay, so, and of course, when the essay also, I think it makes more sense to make it more personal in this case when you're doing a transfer, more specialized or personalized compared to your high school essay of why Columbia, why Cornell, why NYU, or why SUNY Binghamton. I think that's a standard essay anywhere in any application. But in terms of in transfer applications, I think this is very important, because you pick certain courses that you like, or certain professor that you like, or certain activities that are there in that particular school that you feel is not there in this particular school, right? So they know that you have done your research, proper research, and why you want to transfer. And so they know, okay, you're serious about transferring. It's just not because, okay, I don't like that school, I want to try some other school. That's not you are specifically interested in this particular school because this particular teacher, professor is there who has done this research, and you want to continue your passion in that field of study, or this club opportunity is available and you like this club, or anything, right? And it can be anything simple, like, I mean, this is even a college size can be a reason. But at the same time, no, not a very big reason, but you see you thrive well in a lower in a smaller environment rather than a big school or a small school. That kind of setup also makes and so the transfer essay should give more specificity compared to your high school essay. That's what I feel. In high school, you can say, okay, why you want to go to this college? Okay, fine. But in this particular school, in this particular case of transfer, if you're even thinking about it, then it should be more like very particular reasons why you want to transfer to that particular school. Okay, and then in your essay, at the same time, while you're not unhappy, very happy, or maybe you're not, maybe you're still happy and you still want to transfer, you can always say that, not a problem. But there might be other reasons why you want to transfer, but you have to at the same time highlight what you have done in the first year of school. Just because you didn't like the school, if you're not contributing to the school environment, you're not accomplishing anything, that wouldn't portray very well in the transfer application also. So while you always want to look for another school, it is important that you do things that make you stand out in the school that you are in. So Pujita again joined with a psychology major in NYU because she wanted to pursue law. But eventually, when she moved to in the second semester itself, after her fall semester, she knew she wanted to switch from psychology. So that is that's something that that's the next thing that I wanted to touch upon is the flexibility, right? So while in school, as I said, she did some research. She in psychology, she didn't do a STEM research. Again, you might, I don't know if it's also part of STEM, but again, it's not a lab kind of research where she had to do experiments. That wasn't, but it's all scientific anyway. So so she did a psychology kind of research. So she pursued that in college as well. But after first semester, she knew that maybe that's not the one that she wants to major in, right? She likes psychology, but not as a major. So the flexibility that's available in an arts and science college is something that's always that you can think, it's always advantageous, right? Now she is doing an economics major with a business minor, which is totally different from what she started. Then she from economics, she sort of changing to computers. So she took a couple of computer courses. So till the end of second year in college, you don't have to actually fix your major. You have to declare your major. So when you are in high school, you don't have to be bogged down by, okay, I'm going to take that, I'm going to take, there's a lot of flexibility in terms of courses. Of course, if you go to a specialized engineering school or a med school, it's a different course. But if you're pursuing arts and sciences, liberal studies, you have a great opportunity to explore, and you can shift your majors, and you can see what you like, and you can always try to adapt to what you like the best, right? So that's another reason why you would want to transfer also. Sometimes you go in thinking, okay, you like psychology, you like this is good in this school, and the opportunities are good, but once you get in, you do well. Of course, you do your best, you do participate in all this, but at the same time, you find something else that you're more passionate about, and that can be another reason why you want to transfer also. So there are so many things. So, but the flexibility is there, right? So that is the major advantage of being in a liberal arts school, instead of an engineering school or a very focused, specialized school. So if you are undecided, if your kid doesn't know which path they want to pursue and want to keep it open, arts and sciences is always a very good option for you to consider. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to talk about, and of course, in one thing I wanted to also talk about now. Currently, she is in Cornell. So the only one thing in Cornell is you have both private and public. Both offer the same. When you graduate, you are a student of Cornell University. That's it. It doesn't really matter. But there's a SUNY, there is a private part of Cornell as well as a public part of Cornell. If you go into the public, so the SUNY Cornell, which is called the State University of Cornell, which has the SUNY schools are everywhere. Binghamton, it's there. It's um, very many places. If you go upstate north, even SUNY Cortland is there. So many SUNY schools are there, but there is one school in Cornell also. So it's called SUNY Cornell, which is the state part of the public school part of Cornell, and then there is a private school as well. So you have the option of applying to both. And then so if the advantage of being in the SUNY system is that if you're a in-state resident, you get in-state tuition. So that is the advantage of going the SUNY route. And also sometimes the acceptance rate is a little bit more higher in the SUNY portion than the private schools. So, but it's all eventually under the same umbrella of Cornell University. So that's something that also I wanted to share. And the last thing I would want to talk about is again, early decision, early action. Again, I think others must have, people might have touched base upon it before anyway. But again, I would say in our personal experience, Pujita wanted to try different options, though she wasn't passionate. Like, I mean, it might be a good thing before to go early decision if you know where you want to go to, and if you get into it, it's just one school. The hassle of applying to 10-15 colleges and waiting till March, waiting till May for your results, and all this anxiety and stress, all those things are not there if you know where you want to go to. So that's so, and there's nothing to be scared about early decision, because you only know one, and then if you're bound to it, then you don't know what other opportunities you have over there. So if you're really pretty confident, okay, I want to go into this school, early decision is maybe the best way to go, I would say, because it has a very high comparatively higher acceptance rate than the regular school. So that's one thing. But again, in our Pujita wanted to see all the opportunities that she had, and she wanted to know. So we went with the regular early action and regular admissions process rather than early decision. So, but eventually both are good. It's again a very personal choice depending on what the preference is. And yeah, and the extracurricular activities which I wanted to say is because she wanted to go into psychology, but not necessarily that your extracurriculars have to be focused based on your. There are some, of course, if you are going to an engineering, you might engineering club or robotics. There is a good extracurricular opportunity, but not necessarily. I would say if you are passionate about something, you can pursue that. It doesn't have to relate to your major or minor all the time. See, the more important thing in an extracurricular activity is whether you're good at it, you like it, you excel it, and persevere and go after it for quite a few years, and make good use of your time and helping others using that skill that you have gained in that activity. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to cover from my end. And any questions, I would be happy to, or if I know, I would be happy to share my personal experience if there's any. So I see a couple of questions here. What all volunteer activities did she do in high school? I think I covered that. If I have to, because she's finished a few in high school, she's able to finish bachelor's in 3 years. So yeah, another important thing, okay, having asked this question, that I would like to come back to it. When you are transferring, right? That is when I said there's pros and cons. One of the cons in transfer, I will come to this graduation, is one of the cons in transferring is the college that you are going to transfer taking all the courses, accepting all the courses that you have currently finished in the school. Okay, if their syllabus is different and if so, when you are submitting your transfer application, they will also ask about what all courses you took in your first year. One thing is to see how well you did in them and whether you satisfy their criteria. The second thing is whether those courses meet their standards. If they don't, you will not get an equivalent credit for that in the transferring school. So it would be like in our case it was NYU, and she moved from NYU to Cornell. So both were equal, like the standards were pretty much same. So most of the courses she took in NYU, she could transfer to Cornell. But if you cannot, then the time you spent, the money you spent would not amount to anything. So that's something that you have to consider while transferring. Whether you are, if the school doesn't take your credits, are you willing to spend extra semester, or you want to do summer courses, or you are willing to take more courses during the school year, things like that. So that is one of the very important factors that you also have to consider while transferring, which I forgot to mention before. Whether your credits are, and then of course there are some basic requirements that you have to finish, which might be very different in each college. So the NYU basic requirements were very different from Cornell requirements. In NYU, for example, she took French in high school, and she took an AP French exam, and she took SAT subject test also. So that helped. That then she didn't have to do French in NYU at all. So it satisfies the foreign language requirement. But in Cornell, you have to take a foreign language course. So so she had to take a course. So that you have to spend. So same way there are many other requirements which one school might have, which the other school might not have. So that's something that you have to consider. And then and finishing in 3 years, bachelor's, you can finish. Not all colleges give you the flexibility, but many colleges do. It depends on how many see, there is a certain level of credits that you can take every semester. Two things, right? Every college you have to finish in whatever major you're taking, you have to have certain credits, and overall you have to have certain credits. These are the two things that you require to graduate. So if you're doing an economics major, in economics economics department, you should satisfy certain credits in that department, and overall for Cornell there will be a certain credit requirement. You have to satisfy that. And every semester there is a limit on how many credits you can take. You can only take 20 credits or 21 credits max. So eventually, if you take more courses, some courses which you took in high school are recognized. AP courses, AP credits, they are recognized by certain schools. If they're then, while entering itself, you are going in with a credit which you can use towards finishing your course, graduating early. But some colleges, like I know Harvard, Princeton, if you're looking at those top-notch schools, Columbia, I think also, Harvard, Princeton, they all, if you finished AP course in high school, they give you you can join Harvard with when you are joining Harvard or Princeton, you will be placed in an upper course. What is, if you have a basic, intermediate, and an advanced course, you can join intermediate without attending the basic course. But they don't take it towards they don't count towards their credits. You still have to go and finish everything there, but you can start with the intermediate level instead of basic level. But some colleges, they give you the credit itself. So that will save time and money when you are in when you're in college. So that's you can do. Yeah, it's for double major. No, she's not doing double major because it's very difficult to do double major in 3 years. again, if you have some things you can do, but she's able to do a major and a minor in 3 years. And then and then you also have their basic requirements you have to sign. Though she's an economics major, she had to finish, she had to take biology, she has to take reading, she has to take she had to take foreign language, so many things, right? So so if you have 20 credits per semester, you cannot put the entire 20 credits towards your major to finishing it early. That's why sometimes if you take a double major, of course finishing 3 years is not you might at least, I think, go for 3.5 years. I think you can finish in 3.5 years, or maybe even in 3 years. But again, in Pujita's case, we didn't explore that if you can finish with 2 majors in 3 years. But she is doing a major and a minor. And she was and she had to transfer also. So yeah, so that's one thing. FAFSA FAFSA is a pretty straightforward thing in my case. I think for everybody, there is nothing. Of course, it's a little, when we think about FAFSA, it's a little intimidating. But there is nothing there. Just there is no ambiguous questions there. You just have to say your gross income. You have to say how many kids in your family. You have to say what all assets you have, and of course it's and you have, the best thing we did was to just link your tax return to it, so that way they fill all the things. So half of the thing they can fill, it comes by itself. Only when you have to, then there is no ambiguity also, because they know that you're not, it's because it's linked to your tax return. They know the numbers are correct. And of course, it's best to represent facts as they are, rather than put anything else. I think the only a little bit of a, if I may, a question, like a question for which there's no straightforward answer, right? It's not like, okay, how many kids are studying in college, how many siblings you have, this, that. There's one college, how much can you afford to pay yearly? What's your affordability, or how much are you willing to pay? I think that's the only question that is more like a choice rather than a fact. Again, as we all know, and even if you go to a college, I would say, if you're very much interested in that college, and there is, and of course, as you know, in needs blind, they don't even look at your FAFSA for your admissions. In higher level schools, the admissions department and the financial aid is totally different. So while the admissions, I think people must have covered this in your previous sessions, needs blinds and need based. Needs blind school, the admissions department don't even to take the effort to look into your FAFSA or look into your financial aid, any of those process for them to consider. That much I know, because when we transferred, we got our admissions, she got her admission acceptance way before, but then her financial aid never came, because they said you have to contact the financial aid for their package. So the admissions department don't go and think and see, okay, if the kid is admitted to our college, how much should we give the grant, or how much should we give the scholarship? So that's needs blind. So in that case, whatever you put in your FAFSA, it really doesn't matter. But if it's a need-based school, where the admission is based on the amount of scholarship that they need to give, right, based on your financial situation, then they will consider that part of the question. How much can you afford? If you say you can only afford $10,000 per year or $15,000 per year, and then if you have to study in the school, and the school has to give more money so that you can only, your yearly expense will only be done, then they might reconsider the application. So again, it's based on whether the needs blind school or the needs based school. But I would say you all must have already done it. I'm not sure what's the age group of the kids here, but then if you go to each and every school's website, they have their own personal, where you can estimate your yearly contribution. So you must have done that. So I would say, so after getting a general idea based on your financial circumstances, put something close to what you would willing to pay and what what you can afford over there, not more or not less. And I think FAFSA, again, to do it on time is the most important thing there also. I think FAFSA opens at in October sometime. So better to get it done quickly and submit it if you think that you will be getting some help from the government. Then it's better to submit it as early as possible. As soon as the FAFSA things open, it's better to finish and put. And then there's an FSA ID, and then you just make sure to store that FSA ID for all the 3 years, because you will refer to your same ID password for all the 3 years. So keep it in a safe place. And if you're a resident of New York also has many scholarships and grants. Don't forget to apply for that also. And in terms of scholarships and grants, I'm not sure if people have talked to you about it. Yeah, many opportunities in school. So here we underestimate all the opportunities they get in school, where you can apply for so many. They all small things. They add up, and eventually you do get a substantial amount if you take the effort in trying to apply for many opportunities they are available in school. At least in Pujita school, there were quite a few opportunities that she could apply to. And of course, you may not get everything, but you were. Again, scholarship, I'm not very much aware, don't have much idea about scholarships. Of course, as you know, merit scholarship, you do in one of, you can see that more in the, like, at least in my personal experience, I've seen that more in colleges with rankings of between 20, 40. Like in one school, they were willing to give full scholarship for tuition, right? Because that's one way for them to attract higher performing in candidates to their school. They know this kid has this school as either in the safety or just right, but this kid might be reaching our higher reach schools is up. So if you give the main purpose of giving the scholarship is to bring that higher achieving kid to your school, so later on when the kid graduates from your school and goes and represents your school in different workplaces, oh, this is a Cornell, this is a grad from our school, right? So that is their pride, and they want higher performing kids in their school. So they tend to offer merit scholarship. I know a couple of places offered full scholarships. So it is a good thing to consider. We did consider one school, but then eventually it did not work out. And the other scholarships that I was talking about was smaller scholarships in school, which you can apply. That's more like many associations were there in Ossining. Then there were alumni associations, and even in if you just search for scholarships online for that year, you will get so many scholarships. I know she got one. One was National Merit Scholarship that you can apply from your PSAT scores, right? That's a big honor also. It's a National Merit Scholarship. You get selected, and then the advantage of that, yeah, I would encourage people to go and look into that also. If you perform well in your PSATs, I'm not sure if it's still there after COVID. This was my daughter graduated in 2020, so that time it was still there, and I'm hoping it's still there as well. So if you perform well there, then you go to the next level, and then there's so eventually there's which is National Merit Scholarship is not more in terms of money, but it is more in terms of pride, and you get a company scholarship. It's I think $2,500 per year if you take that, or you can take a company sponsored scholarship also. Some companies also provide a scholarship to students, National Merit School finalists. But the one advantage you can get out of that is also if you are a National Merit finalist and also a winner, like a scholarship winner, many colleges will invite you to come to their school, and they will offer tuition and boarding also. I know Pujita was one of the eligible winners for that. So she had at least couple of colleges asking her to join them, which was free of like full tuition free and boarding free with stipend for research. So those kind of, but of course they were very far away, so which we did not prefer her staying alone there. So we did not consider that as an option, but it might work well for many people. So then the whole financial burden is lifted off for the entire 4 years. So yeah, if national merit finalist is a very good opportunity for that. Other than the smaller scholarships that you can apply online, then there will be there are many scholarship focused on certain certain criterion which you might satisfy, like South Asian or this art school, this particular art, this particular skill that you have. So many things there are. I don't recall everything, but you can apply. I know she applied for quite a few, which is like all over US. And then were some things that are very specialized in school. And then our Ossining school, the PT, the Parent Teacher Association had, so like that, but many scholarship opportunities like that. But the bigger one, I would say, it is the national merit finalist, because that's a huge help in terms of financial. Yeah. So any other questions? It's already 9:27. I know I've been talking. Hopefully, I didn't take to like bore you with things that you have already heard in many other places. So yeah, anytime, any questions, you can all let Priya know. And again, Priya, thank you so much for this opportunity.